Traders, Cousin Benny coming to you on Super Bowl Sunday, February the 2nd from theclosingprint.com with a quick market read and watch list. Looking at the indicators that are bullish, we're looking at volatility and macro, still looking good. However, we have numerous indicators that are either in a caution mode or completely bearish, with trend, breadth, valuations, and sentiment, as well as seasonality for the month, either yellow or red. So I'm watching TLT. As you know, I'm already in some trades there. TNX continues to move lower, and we're watching for further movement on the 10-year yield that directly affects our REITs positions and our focus on REITs in the upcoming week. The ARCA institutional index we'll talk about. It's right at support, could lose that. Noted the bearish wicks, and also watching for setups going into the week in XLU sector components, which we pointed out last week look really good, and REITs, which we've been following for the last few weeks, currently in NLY and EPAM, a Momo stock. Here's some of Mikey's trades down here at the bottom. I don't think he's in INVN, but the rest of them I know he's looking at. Alright, so let's take a look at the S&P 500. This is the S&P 500 with CCI signal that I watch for longer term trades. We are still on a sell signal, but we are nearing the zero line, which has been a bounce area previously in 2013. So watch for this area to hold. We have the 30 period moving average, and of course the longer term trend line down here a bit lower. Enabling some other indicators, we can see Bollinger Bands, also the 50 period moving average, this wedge that I've drawn in as an anticipatory pattern. We're currently at the 382 from these fib levels, pivot down here up to this pivot, and a retest of the 50 period moving average would still keep us in this wedge. Now note the 50 period is flattening out. Some of the things I'm looking for as far as looking for a bullish move in the index, need to see RSI get down a little bit lower. Note the comments here. I'd like to see a little bit more fear with CPC spiking into a buy zone. VIX is starting to get up into the fade territory in the 20s. And of course CCI has turned so on a daily basis, so keep an eye on these. We could see a bounce, being it is February and many funds are rebalancing, so keep that in mind. So let's look at the ARCA institutional index. Note I follow this religiously. This area of support here, note the candles. We're seeing sellers coming in and pushing this back down, so just keep an eye on the selling, as we could see further downside. I see this lower trend line that goes back to December of 2012. And note the stocks that are in this index. The indicators are in oversold territory. MACD could turn. Looks like present fee wants to get back down, so that's the reflection of price at the Bollinger Bands. And CCI on the daily, it looks like it's turning back down a little bit too. A couple of weeks ago we noted that in our blog that TNX was rolling over, was seeing some resistance. Now we saw a 10 period, 30 period cross, so we were in a bullish mode in this case with the 10-year yield moving lower. That plays right into strength for REITs and for builders. The top two charts are builders. REITs, of course, we pointed out that we were about to break out and approaching a trend line, so we took some trades on REITs. And of course, the utility sector has a lot of stocks that pay decent dividends, and those look really good with an increase or decrease in the 10-year yield. So That's why we're watching the REITs, and note that there's a number of articles out there. Other writers are starting to pick up on the fact that REITs are bouncing, so we'll look at that sector as well. This is a chart of DVV, the Currency Harvest Fund, Deutsche Bank Currency Harvest Fund. What you want to note here is moves lower are bearish for equities and moves higher are bullish for equities. Currently we're at this lower trend line, and we could see support down here a little bit lower around 24.70. This is something I watch for telltale signs on which way the market's going to move. Looking at the other indices, note the Russell that we've lost this trend line of this uptrending channel, and that we are trading right around the retest of that area. So with the S&P 500, a test of the 50-period moving average as well as the Russell and the comp, we could see further downside. So keep that in mind going into the week. Looks fairly similar here on the comp. If we connect these lows, this channel inside of this channel could be support, with indicators currently pointing lower. The NASI, the Nasdaq Summation Index, is still on a sell signal, as well as the other indicators. Okay, so let's look at some trades. We've been in Annaly Capital Management for a week now. We saw this support at the 10 EMA. We noted the move lower in the 10-year yield and these levels here, Fibonacci levels, with a target at 1137, right inside of this Kirby band. We noted the special interest in terms of volume at 375,000 share block that traded at the open on Friday at the ask. And we have a nice pocket pivot here on the volume indicator. Stochastics and MACD show that we could see further upside, and %B has yet to get to a overheated territory. So that's Annaly. Some of the others that we're looking at in this sector are PAI. You can see the trend, very similar to NLY. OLP, similar. NNN, similar pattern, connecting these highs. Look for breakout there on volume. LXP, note these levels here on BDN, Brandywine Realty. We could see it pop up through this area, and the lack of Kirby, this thing could really get going. Remember, these have to see further weakness in the 10-year yield to cooperate. So AVIV, ANH. Okay, you can see the Kirby here, and this level that we're breaking into. This actually looks pretty good for a cheap REIT. We noted the utilities sector components were looking really good. These components are part of XLU. Note the bullish patterns and bullish candles, and the sector looking really nice. Okay. Many of these are putting in patterns that could break higher. OKE, for example. Let's take a look at that. A nice bullish pattern here, trading above the 10 period, 30 period, so we only take bullish trades on this type of setup, the box trade. If you're interested in that, you can check my blog, and also on my website, the very top video here is the box setup and how that works. You can see all of these stocks look really good for a move higher. Alright, so just look for your bullish setups, continuations off of cup and handle patterns or flag and pennant patterns right now. Most all of these are looking bullish, especially when you compare them to the other 8 spider sector charts. You can see XLB, XLE, XLF, and the rest of these look very weak. They're all trading below their 20 and 50 period moving averages, with the exception of XLU, which looks really good. So keep that in mind. Some of the other charts that Mikey and myself are looking at: Qihu 360 technology, this nice basing pattern that I put in, as now it's breaking higher. Posted this on StockTwits this weekend. Here's another chart that Mikey's looking at. Nice cup and handle on the daily chart. Looking for a continuation move higher on this new issue. ACT as well, nice bullish pattern above the Kirby. Note the pennant pattern here. Volume looks good. MACD's crossing back up, and stochastic supporting a continuation. Note CCI has gotten back above 100. And rounding off with Webcom group. Note the nice cup and handle pattern here. This could continue to move higher and to the week. So keep in mind that we need to see more volume. MACD is turned up, and stochastics has bottomed, has bounced, and is turning higher as well. Okay, so that's going to do it for me for Super Bowl weekend. This is Cousin Benny coming to you from closingfront.com. Remember to check out Day Trader Bootcamp as well as my blog. You can check here where I've been writing about some of these things you can trade off of, as well as commentary during the week. I hope this helps. This is Cousin Benny coming to you from closingfront.com. Take care. We'll see you in the room on Monday.